With just 2 weekends to go of the J1 100-year Vision League season, the title and with it qualification for the AFC Champions League Elite is up for grabs. Nagoya Grampus, one of the teams fighting to be in the championship playoff next month, come to Cerezo Osaka today, level on points with Vissel Kobe at the top of the West Zone table, set to drop into second by at least a point, because Vissel Kobe are heading for penalties against Vifaran Nagasaki. But Nagoya Grampus know that if they keep bettering Vissel's results, it is they who will progress to the big showdown final next month. It's a really warm day here in Osaka, hotting up in more ways than one out on the pitch. Huge contest today in the J1 100-year Vision League. Cerezo's thrilling win over Vifaran Nagasaki here a week ago ended a run of 3 without victory for them and really stirred the crowd. They came into these last 2 matches of the season, today against Nagoya Grampus and Fajano Okayama away next week, technically still in the West Zone title hunt there, about to drop out of contention. But some super form in this bridge season in Japan has vindicated Arthur Papas's approach. Cerezo out in front of their own fans for the 2nd straight weekend, but for the last time until at least August. 8 days ago, this stadium was rocking at the end of the thrilling win over Vifaran Nagasaki, achieved with Shinji Kagawa's injury time penalty. Nagoya Grampus are rounding off their campaign on the road. Last week's 3-0 win over Kyoto Sanga was the Nagoya club's last home match of the bridge season. They've travelled to Osaka today before closing out in Hiroshima next week. A tough finish for a team who are within sight now of a return to the AFC Champions League, with Vissel Kobe in such close proximity and very much capable of ruining Nagoya Grampus's dreams. Misha Petrovic's team have to win both these last 2 matches, preferably inside 90 minutes for maximum points, to be sure of finishing top of the Western Zone and booking a date with almost certainly Kashima Antlers in the championship playoff. It is all set up. With no injury concerns and no desire to upset Cerezo's rhythm, Arthur Papas names an unchanged team, so the same as against Vifaran last week. Nakamura in goal, a back 4 of Cools, Inui, Hatanaka and Okuda, protected by Nelson Ishiwatari and Shunta Tanaka, who scored in his last 2 matches. Yumeki Yokoyama was excellent last week wide left. Nakajima and Shibayama also support main striker Thiago Andrade, who's keeping Solomon Sakuragawa on the bench, another scorer last week against Vifaran there. Thiago Andrade, great reinforcements as well, poised to come on if things don't go Cerezo's way. Referee today, Yusuke Ohashi, last here at the Yanmar Hanasaka for the Matchweek 3 visit of Sanfrecce Hiroshima, won by the visitors 2-1 that day. The Vars are Futoshi Nakamura and Toshiyuki Tanaka. 2 changes for Nagoya Grampus today, just ahead of the goalkeeper Daniel Schmidt. Slotting back into the defence is Yuki Nogami for the injured Teruki Hara. The other switch is in midfield. Takuya Uchida had it only a 2nd start in this J1 100-year Vision League. Kimura and Izumi will play in behind Yuya Yamagishi, who hit 2 in the return fixture at the start of April and whose hat-trick against Kyoto Sanga a week ago was only the 2nd scored in the 16 match weeks of the J1 100-year Vision League. Nagoya Grampus have been revitalised after the Kenta Hasegawa era ended. Arthur Papas has tightened as Cerezo up. 2nd best a defensive record in the J1 100-year Vision League, the best in the West Zone. Misha Petrovic, what a story. Coming to Nagoya Grampus for the bridge season, replacing Hasegawa. They went for experience. He could guide them all the way back into the AFC Champions League. The veteran, a 68-year-old coach, 2 decades into his coaching career now in Japan. Beautiful day for it. (3 p.m. Sunday kickoff here in the J1 100-year Vision League. The special bridge season in Japan is almost up. 16 matches played, just 2 to go. Nagoya Grampus away at Cerezo Osaka today, and Sanfrecce Hiroshima next week have their destiny in their own hands. Better the results of Vissel Kobe, and it will be they who play off for the championship against the team that finishes top of the East Zone group, almost certain to be Kashima Antlers. But crazy things happen at the end of seasons as tension rises, mistakes are made, and teams go for it. Nagoya Grampus have to be controlled in their aggression over the last 2 weeks of the season. Straight away, there's a problem here for Hayato Okuda. Oof. That's the first sortie, and you see that left ankle bend back in on itself. Okuda, left back in this 4-2-3-1 Arthur Papas formation. There's no doubting the attacking credentials of the coach and the attacking approach he likes to deploy, but a far more sensible way of treating the J1 100-year Vision League, we sense, for this Australian coach who launched his Cerezo career in spectacular fashion. Match day 1 of last season, and they destroyed Gamba in the big city derby on the opening day, 5-2 away. Okuda limps back into the fray. We hit the reset button. But Nagoya Grampus, full of attacking capability. It was a hallmark of Misha Petrovic's tenure. Sanfrecce, Urua Reds and Consadole Sapporo, no matter how many we concede, we're always confident of scoring more, and that's been very much the template for Nagoya Grampus after it all went a bit flat under Kenta Hasegawa, who departed at the end of the 2025 season. And he's auditioned, even at his age, Petrovic, for the main job when J1 kicks off again for real in August. The first ball into the box there from Tokumoto. So Kosuke Nakamura is the Cerezo keeper, 10th star. Kim Jong-hyun is the other goalkeeper in the Cerezo ranks. Started the rest of Cerezo's fixtures in the 100-year Vision League. That's Thiago Andrade, scorer of 5 goals, most recent of which was the equaliser against Fifaran last week. take them long to equalise after conceding first. It was a thrilling match, that, end to end. Both teams committed to attack and won in stoppages by Shinji Kagawa, a veteran for Cerezo, off the bench to convert a penalty after they'd missed one. Inside 90 minutes, Motoko Nakajima saw his efforts saved. But Yokoyama and Shibayama, the wide players in the attacking three behind Andrade, were particularly eye-catching last week. Tanaka and Ishiwatari at the base of the midfield. Ishiwatari had a good game. The youngster, alongside Shunta Tanaka, is Asano. Nudge through from Yamagishi. Deep cross, Dion Cools there. Ishiwatari will clear it. Wing-backs important for the visitors today. Katsurio Nakayama on the left, and Yuya Asano, who served Misha Petrovic so well. Consadoli Sapporo on the right. They too have an attacking midfield too of Yudai Kimura and Ryuji Izumi behind Yuya Yamagishi. 9-goal Yamagishi. Cools sends Thiago Andrade away. Normally operates on the wing, does Thiago Andrade. Joined at the start of last season with the Rafa Tao, who's excellent up front for Cerezo, but he's now departed after playing China. So they've had to search for a striking solution. And Solomon Sakuragawa has arrived from Yokohama FC, but out of the team at the moment as they go with Andrade as the focal point of the attack. Nakayama, Tokumoto. Missing out on the threat of Sho Inagaki. Today, Nagoya Grampus, the veteran, just in the matchday squad, was their top scorer last season. And how's the flag going to be? Well, it's going to stay down. I wondered if there was going to be an offside call there, and Izumi latched onto it. We'll see how the attack plays out. Here is the call. An obvious offside. Tokumoto. Inui. They're in behind here. Nagoya. It's Kimura. He went for the near post. There were two players arriving square there. Yudai Kimura sensed a gap left by Kosuke Nakamura. Scrambles it on that near post. Cerezo go direct with Nakajima through the middle. It was well defended. Mogami placing Hara at the back alongside Haruyu Fuji and Shuhei Tokumoto today, the Nagoya Grampus back three. Here's Kimura. Involve Nakayama. Don't have players always willing to flood forward. Caution is not an option for Misha Petrovic teams. Kimura applauds the service. Back with the goalkeeper, Daniel Schmidt. And we've had an outcome in Nagasaki. V Fahren have defeated Vissel Kobe on penalties, but it's still a point for Vissel Kobe. It's technically a draw, because we don't have standalone draws in the J1 100-year Vision League. Every stalemate at 90 minutes goes to a shootout. So that massively helps out Nagoya Grampus. Still on top, had an identical record at the start of this round of fixtures. Now know what they've got to do. Just keep winning now. And top spot in the West Zone will be theirs. Extraordinary story, that. And the coach, if nothing else, Nagoya Grampus, regarded as one of Japan's sleeping giant clubs. And hopes that Kenta Hasegawa could restore them to former glories. And it all ended rather underwhelmingly, despite the 2024 J-League Cup win. One of the most successful managers in Japanese top-flight history, Hasegawa. Nicely done. When gambling on the far post there as they jinked their way through. It was Nakajima who made the run into the inside right channel. Asano. Pen back a little bit here. This is Tokumoto. Very loose that from Nagoya Grampus. Many cherry blossom shirts forward here. Shibayama back for Ijiwatari. There's the ball into the middle and poked home by Tanaka, who is in this brilliant run of goal-scoring form, on target for the third match in a row. Nodded home against V Fahren last week and toe pokes the opener. Nagoya Grampus made the defensive mistake. Shibayama just lays it in to Tanaka. His first touch is a little bit iffy. His second touch, magnificent. Look at that for a finish. The veteran with a captain's goal to get Cerezo off the mark. Beautifully taken. Shunta Tanaka. One of the first names on the team sheet. He's missed just 5 minutes of the season. Tanaka. Cerezo Osaka 1, Nagoya Grampus 0. That livens things up here. It's too easy, wasn't it, from a Nagoya Grampus point of view. And Tanaka back in his own box defending. Tokumoto. And Asano isn't going to get onto that. Well, getting one over on his old coach, another of the former disciples at Consadole Sapporo, Shunta Tanaka, before leaving the island of Hokkaido at the end of the 2023 season. Three scoring match days in a row for the midfielder. Just to add to the goal he scored 6 minutes into stoppages. Kyoto Sanga to win that one for Cerezo on match week 6. That point for Vissel Kobe, the losing penalty shootout, means that Cerezo now cannot win the West Zone. It's a long shot anyway, but mathematically, the top spot is out of their reach now. Hooked cross, again too high for Yuya Asano, one of the smallest players on the pitch. The ball came in from the opposite wing from Katsuhiro Nakayama. Incredible longevity. Misha Petrovic today is his 608th match on the touchline in the Japanese top flight. And to quibble about statistics, we'll say this isn't an official J1 match, but there is so much to play for in this bridge season before the calendar changes. Nakajima shuffled out wide for Asano. Fuji. Tokumoto. Tomiki Takamine. Another part of the Contadoli-Sapporo connection. Takamine. On loan here, former Kashiwa Reysol player. Misha Petrovic's recruits. Tokumoto. And again, Shuhei Tokumoto. Dion Coles tries to get the challenge in. Nakayama to Kamine. Plenty of room here for Tokumoto. Lofted cross. It's not breaking for Yuya Asano, is it? His first 16 minutes. Possession still with Nagoya Grampus. There's the cross! Just a little too high for Yamagishi. A bit of time on the ball, though, for the visitors. And that will allow them to just bed in a little bit better into this one. Floated across by Haruya Fuji. Schmidt, good distribution. Tokumoto, able to slip it through. Nakayama tries to pick out Asano, offside. Defensive line working for Cerezo. Tokumoto forward from the left-hand side of the back three, is teasing that through there to Nakayama. And away by Okuda. Challenge coming in again as the white shirts win it back. Three 90-minute wins on the road for Nagoya Grampus in the J1 100-year Vision League. Looking for an equaliser here, it's Asano! Ball dropped kindly for him for the first time in the match, good block. The victories came on the road at the Vispa Fukuoka, 2-0 at the Shimizu S-Pulse, and win at Vifaren, Nagasaki. 3 draws at 90 minutes as well, followed by a penalty shootout win just across the way at Gamba. They lost their other two shootouts, Nagoya Grampus at Fujano Okayama and Kyoto Sanga. Beaten 3-2. Vissel Kobe, only 90-minute defeat that Petrovic's team have suffered away. Deflected cross. Cerezo, the toe end on it. But set up camp now, Nagoya Grampus. We got a lot of possession. Uchida is in for Inagaki today. Tokumoto, early ball, tries to pick out Yamagishi. No involvement yet for the striker. Nogami, Uchida, Asano. Ball forwards. Challenge was bang on as well. Kimura, the target of that long ball. Dion Cools. Held up by Shibayama. There goes Thiago Andrade. Here come the onrushing players in attacking support. Nakajima, he's edged it through to Thiago Andrade. Drilled it straight at Schmidt. Let off for Nagoya Grampus, wouldn't have mattered anyway. There we go. Finally, we hear the whistle and see the flag. Andrade with that layoff. Very, very tight. It happened quite a bit in the opening stages of last week's match against Vifaren. Andrade caught marginally offside. Operating from a little bit deeper as they put the end product to a move of their own. Cerezo with that equalising goal a week ago. Just conceded the penalty to Ryogo Yamasaki, one of their former players, when Andrade struck back. Look at the room as they go for number 2, and they get number 2 as well. Yokoyama away down the left-hand side. Cerezo Osaka increase their lead, and Nagoya Grampus's title ambitions are fading. Again, it was very loose. There was so much room here for Cerezo to build an attack, working hard to win the ball back. Yokoyama on the end of the move, and Schmidt won't be happy with that. He's let that through at his near post, and they're playing a serious game of catch-up now, Nagoya Grampus. Nightmare moment for the goalkeeper. Don't want to be beaten there. But Schmidt sees that ball crash through and hit the back of the net. What a finish Cerezo Osaka are having to this J1 100-year Division League season. Last week was their first win after 3 straight draws. Here they are, now taking down Nagoya Grampus. Not enthused by that Vissel Kobe result at all, it seems. In danger of conceding number 3. It's Nakajima. Well, Schmidt does well to recover. Prevented a certain third goal there. Moteko Nakajima, but alarming holes at the back. being left by Nagoya Grampus. Here's Dion Cools. Cerezo in full flow. Ishiwatari does really well, Ishiwatari. Takumato's header. Back for Shibayama. Comes short for Yokoyama. Full of energy and confidence right now. Blistering performance last week. Every time the ball went near him, he was a threat. Yokoyama. This was Nakajima, who of course missed that penalty last week. He tried to make too sure, didn't he? But fair play to Schmidt there, scrambles that away. Instinctive goalkeeping there. More work to do for Nagoya Grampus at the back. Shibayama, left-footed corner, hit deep. Grampus body's in there, get it away, and the chance goes. So he's having his moment right now, the Cerezo winger. He's only 20, and broken is done. A lot of these players are essentially being auditioned for the J1 season proper. Yokoyama crowned some terrific recent performances with his first goal for Cerezo. It was the first for anyone since he notched in J2 last year for his previous club, Imabari, in October of 2025. Kamine. Takumato. Nakayama. Finds its way through to Asano. It's a follow-up player who's able to drill that at Nakamura. Another crucial stop from Nakamura. Prevented Nakayama's effort from sliding in at the near post. Then there goes Shibayama. Nakayama back to tidy up. Good defensive work that from the wing back. Dropping very, very short there. The intention was just to spin that ball out wide to Asano. Yokoyama done really well. Oh, took a nick on the way through, took it behind Thiago Andrade. But reminiscent of the threat he posed last week, likewise Shibayama on this right-hand side for Cerezo. Just classic old-school wing play, really, from Yokoyama, and it has them panicking, no question. And catch a break there. Nagoya Grampus at the back. Cerezo, who, like last year in J1, handed a Derby Day fixture on the opening day of this J1 100-year Vision League. It was a 0-0 draw. Polar opposite of last year's 7-goal thriller, won by Cerezo at Gambus home. They ended up losing the shootout, Cerezo, after that, and were beaten here by Sanfrecce Hiroshima. There's another 0-0 draw with Shimizu Pulse. They won the penalty competition that followed that draw. Then Fajano Okayama came here and won 2-1. Match week 7, another draw against Vissel Kobe, followed at home. Won the shootout, and a 3-0 win over Kyoto Sanga, which was the only 90-minute victory in front of their own supporters before last week's over Vifaren. And here they come again, Cerezo winning it back with Ishiwatari. He can't play it across to Yokoyama. Tokumoto. It's a forward there to Nakayama. Crunching challenge from Coles. Handball was given against Dion Coles for the penalty kick that they conceded. Led to the first goal against Vifaren. But a really strong addition to the Cerezo back line. Malaysian international who came here to Japan after 3 years with the Buriram United in Thailand. Wildly successful there as well. Tokumoto launches it forward. Magashi nodded it down. Referee has a look. No penalty. First hint of combination play there. Long ball up to Yamagishi, little nudge down for Ryuji Izumi. Did seem to be contact. Defender rushing back. You see by his reaction, he fears the worst there, Rikito Inui. Sees Izumi tumble. Knows that he's gone into the back, light as it may seem from that replay of Ryuji Izumi. No contact between our friends in the VAR cabin and Yusuke Ohashi. On we go. Cerezo Osaka leading Nagoya Grampus by 2-0. Just past the half-hour mark here. Match kicking off just a matter of hours. I'm sure you'll be aware, after the Cerezo City rivals won a continental title in Riyadh last night. Gamba ruining the dreams of Cristiano Ronaldo in the AFC Champions League 2 finals. A stunning result that, as they return to the AFC Champions League elite. Gamba. This was a promising move for Nagoya Grampus. And Tokumoto sends the ball in. Yamagishi can't connect on the near post. They're knocking on the door here. But no end product as yet from Nagoya Grampus. Just a whisker away from toe ending that. A 9-goal striker. Gamba having been crowned the Japanese champions of Asia, the Champions League competition that is. Last night was their second continental trophy. Gamba do have greater success than Cerezo. Shibayama. Yokoyama took 2 to stop him. There's the rebound. Fires in the cross for Thiago Andrade. Going to be quicker to the loose ball as well with Ishiwatari. Okuda, look at the room they have. So many attacking options, Cerezo. Shibayama, there's the overload. So many options. Nakajima spins it across. Here's Cools now up from right back. And rather nervy intervention finally there from Fuji. It's Rikito Inui. Dion calls. Shunta Tanaka. Masaya Shibayama. Okay, it didn't come off, but the invention is there. They have the ideas, they have the craft. Really hitting their stride towards the end of this bridge season are Cerezo. Takumoto. Asano. Waits for support, Asano. Useful to Nakayama! And it's in! No, it's not. Or at least not allowed. Offside flag. Coming closer and closer. Nagoya Grampus. Now they do have the ball in the net after 1 or 2 near misses. But it's ruled out. Asano was forward. Yamagishi was square. And he's just off there. The on-rushing attacker who gets to that layoff from Nakayama. Just ahead of the backtracking defender in Tanaka. As we move into the last 10 minutes of the first half now. So they are going to VAR, and Yudai Kimura appreciates that decision. 7 goals this season. Yudai Kimura, that leading foot seems to be ahead of Dion Calls there. So it is an offside. No goal for Nagoya Grampus. The 28 goals that Petrovic's team have scored this season, 16 matches, the same as FC Tokyo's tally in the East Zone. Conceded 18, a goal difference of +10. Cerezo with a concession of just 16 all season, the best in their geographical zone, second best overall in the J1 100-year Vision Leagues. A little bit risky that from Nakamura and Kashima Antlers. They've conceded just 9. They have the best defensive numbers. Antlers heading for another victory, of course. They're the reigning champions, back at the top of Japanese football. First title in 9 years at the end of 2025. One up at Jeff United in the Eastern Zone. That match has got around about another quarter of an hour to run. Likewise, Fajano, Okayama, Shimizu, Espels here in the West Zone. Fajano, one up in that one. Thiago Andrade. Dion Calls. Gives it back to Nelson Ishiwatari. Masaya Shibayama. Thiago Andrade. It's caught a little bit flat there. Takamine gives it back to his goalkeeper. Inui. Again, it was a rather aimless thump-up field to no one in particular from Nagoya Grampus. Giving the ball to the opposition, and Ishiwatari once again has space. Here on the right-hand side, clever ball across, has to be 3. It is 3, it is Yokoyama with his second goal of the day, and Nagoya Grampus title dreams are hitting the buffers. Petrovic can't believe it. The wheels are coming off for the visitors. Cerezo Osaka are rampant. Yokoyama, who hadn't scored for Cerezo before today, on target twice here in the first half. They gave the ball away again, Nagoya Grampus, and Cerezo, the way they're ending this season, are in no mood to squander. Easy for Yumeki Yokoyama, 2 for him, 1 for Shunta Tanaka, 3 for Cerezo. It's a long way back from here for Nagoya Grampus. A penny for the thoughts of Vissel Kobe. Beaten earlier, albeit on penalties, but they will go into the last match day of the J1 100-year Vision League next week in the box seat, or so it seems. Crazy stuff. I don't think anyone would have predicted this, still with 5 minutes to go in the first half here in Osaka. Nagoya Grampus still to go to Hiroshima next week on the final day. Vissel Kobe are at Avispa Fukuoka. Diego Andrade chopping across his opponent there. Free kick here for Nagoya Grampus. A little scrap of something would be most welcome before the interval. To Kamine. Floats it across. Tanaka there, putting it behind. Upgraded from free kick to corner here, Nagoya. Shuhei Takamoto with the corner, driven to the near post. Follow-up is struck superbly, must be, and is forced in by Kimura, who had the ball in the net before that. That was ruled out. This one will stand. Well, they made the corner pay ultimately. What a hit this was. When the corner kick wasn't properly cleared, Nakamura nowhere near it. Asano drives the rebound across, and in comes Kimura for his 8th goal of this season. It's a cross shot from Asano. Still a little bit stunned by the quality of the initial hit from long range that's rattled Nakamura's cage. But Kimura, who's having his best year for goals since he hit 10 for Tokyo Verdy in 2024. Notches another, and it just lifts the mood a little around Nagoya Grampus and gives Cerezo something to think about. More fantastic entertainment being served up here at the home of Cerezo Osaka. As Thiago Andrade leaves that for Dion Cools. Very loose again, it's given straight back to the Cerezo Osaka man. Shibayama. Ishiwatari rolls it across. Resolute defending that time from Nagoya Grampus. Okada for Ishiwatari. Another good half. And the Cerezo midfield. Ishiwatari, there goes Yokoyama again. Permanent danger, he's such a live wire. Twisting and turning away from Nogami. Shibayama. Is it in for Nakajima? Still going, no penalty. The referee having absolutely none of that. Matiko Nakajima again playing with their backs to goal and just backtracking in and forcing the defenders into these last-ditch lunges. Takamine gets his left boot across there, and Nakajima looking to leverage any kind of contact. It seems that there's communication. Smashed the penalty last week. They were looking to win it inside 90 minutes. Nakajima against Vifaran Nagasaki. Brilliant save actually by Go Atano. He couldn't do the same. Faced Shinji Kagawa in stoppages. 3-2 that one finished with 3-1 already with still a half to play. 4 minutes added on at the end of another thrilling half of football. The YANMAR HANASAKA. Tanaka was backwards there. High press from the Nagoya Grampus attackers. Takamoto able to cover. There's going to be a shout, a suspicion of offside. Would have been had Katsuro Nakayama been able to keep that ball in play. He had his longest spell at any one club here in Japan with Urawa Reds. Did Misha Petrovic won a J.League Cup and came second on a few occasions in his 5 years. There's also a third place in the middle of it all. Started out with Sanfrecce, did Misha Petrovic back in 2005. Tokumoto whips in the ball. Good cross as well. Well, Yamagishi, 2 headers last week in that hat-trick. Only 2 hat-tricks scored in the J1 100-year Vision League. The other being Erison of Kawasaki Frontale. He got a triple against Kashiwa Reysol on the opening day. 8-goal thriller. 5-3, Frontale won that. Takumito with the throw. Target is Nakayama. It will bounce through to Kosuke Nakamura. Andrade. Into that by Fuji. Takumito, Fuji. Nagami at the back, run ragged by these lively, effervescent, dangerous Cerezo attackers. Loose ball again, breaks in the home side's favour. It's Thiago Andrade. Matiko Nakajima. Cools on the overload. Get there as well here, Dion Cools. Cerezo still have it. Nakajima for Cools. Inui back through Atanaka for Okuda. Ishiwatari. Tanaka. That's going to be that for the first half here in Osaka. Another brilliant attacking display from Cerezo, who are ending the season in fantastic attacking form. Have scored 3 against the leading team in the West Zone, Nagoya Grampus, here in the first half. Shunta Tanaka, the captain, scored the opener. Yumaki Yokoyama, who hadn't scored for Cerezo before today, has 2 in a single half alone, and Yudai Kimura managed to notch one for Nagoya Grampus after he'd already had the ball in the net, an attempt that was disallowed for an offside call. It's more thrills and spills here from the J1 100-year Vision League's great entertainers. Cerezo Osaka lead Nagoya Grampus by 3-1 at half-time here, shaking it all up at the top of the league.
Cerezo Osaka YANMARレディスは昨日開催されました AC ラウンドパルセードレディス戦で2025-26シーズンが終了いたしました。セレゾ大阪YANMARレディス脇坂玲奈選手よりサポーターの皆様へご挨拶をさせていただきます。 セレソ大阪ヤンマーレディース次のシーズンは8月から開幕いたします。引き続き皆様熱い声援よろしくお願いいたします。セレソ大阪は7月29日水曜日にドイツ・ブンデスリーガ所属のボルシア・ドルトムントとのプレシーズンマッチが決定いたしました。加藤真司選手がかつて所属したクラブであり、2024年の国際親善試合ユーロジャパンカップ2024で対戦いたしました。また2026年1月には育成分野の発展と国際連携の強化を目的に両クラブでオフィシャルパートナーシップを締結するなど交流を深めているクラブです。今回の対戦は2024年以来2度目となります。新たなシーズンの幕開けとなる試合にぜひお越しください。なおチケット販売など詳細につきましては後日お知らせいたします。
Welcome back. It's getting very interesting at the top of the West Zone now in the J1 100-year Vision League, because Cerezo Osaka are in the process of spoiling the party for Nagoya Grampus. In control of their own destiny, Nagoya Grampus, Misha Petrovic's surprise package in the bridge season in Japan, and they're coming in at the top of the West Zone table, but no longer, it seems, slipping off the top to be replaced by Vissel Kobe with just 1 week of the season to go. AFC Champions League Elite qualifying spot up for grabs at the end of this season. Nagoya Grampus were on course, but no longer. Brilliant attacking again from Cerezo. Yokoyama with a brace, Tanaka on target, Kimura making it interesting, pulling one back for Nagoya Grampus. The commitment to attack will be intensified from the visitors in this second half. We're underway again at the YANMAR HANASAKA. Cerezo Osaka 3-1 up on Nagoya Grampus. What can Misha Petrovic and his team conjure in this second half? Asano gets some early possession. Start as you mean to go on, with attacking intent from the team in white. Defeated only once inside 90 minutes all season on the road. And an early flash of a drive into the side netting as they look to play through Nakayama wide left. It wasn't as if they were blunt in attack. Had the ball in the net not once but twice. An offside call denying Kimura. 8 shots Nagoya Grampus in the first half to Cerezo's 5. All of them on target though from the home team. And Nagoya Grampus had 58% of possession in the first 45. They need to be a little bit more precious with it. Shuei Tokumoto, left footer, poised to bend this in. Free kick in the opening moments of the second half. He's left it. There's the header. There's the goal. It's in. Stunning start to the second half. Nagoya Grampus back to 3-2 now. Nogami racing through. The player back in the team today. Cerezo Osaka hadn't bedded in at all in this second half. Delivery was good. A grazed header. It's close to Nakamura, but his reflexes let him down there, the Cerezo keeper. Gets a strong hand on it, but can't keep it out. 3-2 as they check for offside. So, hold your horses. Some of the most overworked people in Japanese football, the VAR officials. Is he offside there? Inui is getting back. They hold that advanced line there, Cerezo, and like he might have strayed there. Nogami at least wasn't able to monitor the defensive line and stay behind it. His last goal was against Cerezo in the 2-1 win for Nagoya Grampus last season. Nogami. Fabulous, positive start to the second half, though, with the ball pushed out wide, a little bit of trickery, foul forced of Cerezo, free kick won, and well delivered too. Everything has to be checked from every possible angle. A bit of a false start at the beginning of the first half as well, didn't we? That's kind of what we're experiencing now. Offside. So, it is not 3-2, it remains 3-1. And Nogami back into the Nagoya Grampus defence today is not able to enjoy his first goal since last October. That's how close it is. Yeah, get the dotted lines out. Marginal again. It's probably the right call. So they'll have to pick themselves up again here, Nagoya Grampus. Andrade couldn't get there. Signed alongside Rafa Ritao for a campaign in which they finished 10th for the second straight J1 year. Cerezo, middle of the road really. In Arthur Pappas' first season in charge, 14 wins, 14 defeats and the 10 draws. Now then, Nagoya Grampus breaking forward with pace from deep. We've got Yamagishi up there and overloads as well. So Takamine brings it on. Yuya Asano drifting into the area. Chance to get the ball in, or indeed try and work a combination. Doesn't break there for Kimura. Anticlimactic finish to that, and the masters of transition and the counter. Cerezo threatened to hit the opposition again, but the pass to Thiago Andrade was a little bit heavy. Back with Nogami. His effort to the back of the net, the second that Nagoya Grampus have had disallowed today. I wonder if Uji Izumi was being handled by the defender there. He certainly went to ground there, the Nagoya Grampus skipper. Lovely switch of play. Nakayama there lifts it across. Izumi the target, and Okuda deals with him. He's the player that went over on his left ankle within seconds of the kickoff. Recurrence of that problem seems to be that left ankle again. It bent in horribly. He was able to continue, of course, but that will be the end of Hayato Okuda's day. And Ayumu Oita, ready-made understudy, is coming in here for Cerezo. Shame for Okuda. He's had a solid enough season. Oita started 12 times for Arthur Pappas off the bench for the second time for the former Urawa Reds player. That was Izumi getting back to win it. Fine pass that. Asano! Just wanted someone to launch themselves at that Asano. Plenty of pace on it. That's classic Yuya Asano. Served well by the diagonal. Super first touch. And from that point on, Cerezo are backtracking. It's a whipper there from Yuya Asano. But here's Ishiwatari at the other end. Back to Thiago Andrade. 4-1. End-to-end stuff. Classic Cerezo. Ishiwatari there feeding Thiago Andrade, who is loving life in the middle as the central striker. Another goal for the Brazilian. Look at the room. This is the problem with Nagoya Grampus. They're very easy on the eye, but defensively under Misha Petrovic, they're always going to struggle. Take nothing away from that lovely swept-home finish by Thiago Andrade. Scores his 6th goal in the J1 100-year Vision League. Beautifully clipped past Daniel Schmidt. No chance for the goalkeeper. 5 in his last 7. To add to the goal he scored in Fukuoka's 2nd week of the season. 25 starts, but mainly out wide. Thiago Andrade last year got him 4 goals. Moving into the middle. He's bringing out the best in his scoring credentials. And it's been this attempt to replace firstly Leo Ciara and now Rafa Ratau. Maybe they have their solution after all. They've certainly got the wide players to cause damage in Yokoyama and Shibayama. No need for Andrade. Out wide now. Here's Asano. Lovely touch by Ishiwatari. Andrade for Yokoyama. They flood forward again. Here's Cerezo. And that's a delicate ball across, and it could so easily have been 5. Yokoyama feeding Dion Cools, or almost feeding Dion Cools. That's the right back careering forward to try and get there just in the nick of time on the far post. Oh, defensive touch there of real quality by the looks of things. Well, just about puts Cools off there. I think Fuji gets back fantastically well. But rather like the Andrade goal, those spaces at the back are really hurting Nagoya Grampus. True to form, an immediate attack is launched at the other end. And on we go. Yokoyama, splendid ball forward. Nakajima, it's 1-on-3, he'll wait for support. For Shibayama, back for Nakajima. Straight at the goalkeeper. It's 4-1. It might have been 6-5. Remember, as well as the 5 legitimate goals, 2 in the back of the net. We've had the woodwork rattled. 2 in the back of the net disallowed, that is, for Nagoya Grampus. And Nakajima wants to make extra sure. And credit to Kamine there, who stays on his feet. Had he gone to ground, Nakajima jinks inside and surely does make it 5. Now, making that championship playoff final against the Antlers is all important, because the Antlers have already qualified the AFC and Champions League Elite next season. That's because they won J1 last year. But Nagoya Grampus are seeing a return to Asia's top club competition, spoiled by Cerezo here. Been in 6 continental campaigns, Nagoya Grampus. Last being the 2021 AFC Champions League after they finished 3rd in J1 in 2020. Lost to Pohang Steelers in the quarter-finals. Had have been runners-up in the Asian Cup Winners' Cup, but that was a long time ago, nearly 3 decades ago now. Nakajima, well dealt with again by Takamine. On for Uchida. Quickly tries to use Katsuro Nakayama. Coles dealt with a problem. Thiago Andrade is through. The flag has stayed down for the time being. And it goes up. So, trying hard to watch that line. Stay onside. So, we're at the hour mark. Changes will be rung here. Yamagishi is not going to add to his tally. Takuya Uchida also withdrawn. Kensuke Nagai, Yota Sato are the players in. Nagai, 37. An absolute veteran off the bench for the 9th time this season. He's the eternal backup these days. Doesn't have many attacking options, really. That's been their problem over the last couple of years and hurt them under Kenta Hasegawa. Sato on 2. Only his 5th appearance of an injury-hit season to help Nagoya Grampus out in midfield. Corner! Oof! Whipped across. You know what, Thiago Andrade was allowed to continue that attack. There was no offside, and Schmidt has pulled off a very good save, thus leading to that corner, but he was almost embarrassed when it was floated across. Look to hit Nagai. Yokoyama. That's enough, so ends it away. Undoubted breakout star of the J1 100-year Vision League, Yameki Yokoyama. Well-trodden path. You had a bit of a reputation here at home and then make your way into Europe. And one of his predecessors made exactly that journey last year. Sota Kitano, who had that fantastic start to the 2025 season before departing Osaka last summer. It's one of the problems with the differences in the calendar, or has been until now. And they go to a European calendar in Japan. Sota Kitano, who featured 19 times the first half of the 2025 season before leaving for Salzburg. Lovely little play again from Yokoyama. Ball rolls away from Shibayama, a constant threat. % of the ball for Nagoya Grampus. What does that matter when you're outscored by a far more clinical set of attackers at the other end of the pitch? Asano, lovely little overload. Here comes Nogami. Nagoya Grampus trying to step it up. Nudge back there for Izumi. They don't get the break. Sakura. Right-sided midfielder normally. Petrovic going for Brogue. We'll see how this attack works out for his team. Thiago Andrade, straight down the throat of Daniel Schmidt. Ball finds its way to Nogami. Asano, well defended. Challenge there from Ohata. Scooped up for Nakajima, and the ball inside the fullback finds Yokoyama. Asano trying to get back. Yokoyama, as tricky as ever. It's Yokoyama, still going. He punts it across. Great improvisation again from Yameki Yokoyama. He will have the scouts flooding again to Osaka after his performances in this bridge season. That was Izumi. Here's Asano. Nogami. This time Cerezo have been a little bit loose in defending. Asano. Clip, there's the flick. They can't involve Nagai. He's not had any impact whatsoever, the striker off the bench for Nagoya Grampus. It looks like there'll be another opportunity to get the next set of players on. Hiramasa, Koda and Masaito Ono. And Solomon Sakuragawa to deputise for the ever hard-working Thiago Andrade. Delightful goal to add to his tally in the J1 100-year Vision League, 6th of the season. A player who has ended up replacing Sakuragawa as the starting striker for Cerezo. He's replaced by the former Yokohama FC man, and it has to be go for broke now for the visitors. Namasa Koda off the bench for the 10th time this season. Ono, another trusted understudy for Izumi. Hasn't worked out at all well today for the visitors. Fresh legs though, fresh hope for Nagoya Grampus. Nope, same outcome. Ball ricochets back there to Sakuragawa. Moved into the middle to try and pick up that cross. Shot on the turn. Flashes over. There's so much confidence flooding through Cerezo Osaka right now. Kajima is desperate for his first goal since last autumn. Tanaka breaks there for Asano. Three in the box here. It's pulled in just a little behind Nagai. to Kamine. Now takes up the role of skipper because of Izumi's withdrawal. That was Sato. There goes Koda. Left wing back now for Nakayama. Koda. Early cross. Same required from the opposite flank now for Nagoya Grampus. It's the turn back inside. Working hard to win it back. Cerezo struggling to properly clear. It's Yuya Asano. So many bodies in the way. Well defended, effectively smothered that shot from Yuya Asano there, Cerezo. Well, Sakuragawa face the prospect of life in J2 again. Yokohama FC have become the proverbial yo-yo club. And J1 alternating between promotions and relegations for the last 3 years. But he stayed in the top flight, Sakuragawa, at 24. He's giving Arthur Papas options, the kind of options that coaches enjoy ahead of the big kick-off in August. Quite as much defensively here. Free kick for Nagoya Grampus. Shuhei Tokumoto. Problems with set pieces, ball in the net from a couple of them. Ended up being ruled out. Sakuragawa it was with a defensive header there. Ball's going to come back at Cerezo here inside the last 20 minutes. The last home match of the season for Cerezo Osaka. And what a match it's turned into. The last couple of weeks it's turned into for the Cherry Blossom Club. Going to look for Asano again here. Support from the defender, Harayafuji. Sakuragawa. That's where he doesn't look quite as mobile as Thiago Andrade. And Nagoya Grampus have won the ball off Solomon. Sakuragawa can maybe try something, another attack. And eventually, the whistle is blown for the foul on Nogami. Another scratchy set piece conceded by Cerezo for that. Clumsy from the standing left back, Oata. Here's the delivery, floated in and too close in to Kosuke Nakamura. Needed a bit more quality there, Nagoya Grampus. You have a present threat of being hit on the counter. Quick Cerezo transitions, but they've been a bit hasty there. And this is going to be the pattern of the last 17 minutes plus stoppages. Nagoya Grampus piling on the possession and pressure. And here they are again, the white shirts. It's back with Takamine. This is Nogami. Go through Asano once again. Feet from Asano. That's a good challenge. Kajima will bring it away. Try and hold it up, at least. Nagoya Grampus have it back. 3-0 win in the return fixture for Nagoya Grampus. The roles are reversed here. Asano, again the wide outlet. Ball is arrowed to the far side instead by Yota Sato. Substitute who's had his injury problems this season. Sato getting forward well there, just threads it in between Naga and Ono. Still no real service for Kensuke Nagai. And Nagoya Grampus stalwart in his third spell with the club. Perhaps something might present itself from this corner. Flicked header is up and over the top. But it was an awkward one. Nagami with the ball in the net once already, ruled out. And it comes in a little behind him, can't make the adjustment necessary. For a club that lay claim to being mainstays, a huge club, Nagoya Grampus. From the industrial city in central Japan, in the prefecture of Aichi. That's the goalkeepers. Famously got a bit of an international reputation at the start of the J-League era, early 90s. And Gary Lineker played for them, Dragan Stojkovic, the Yugoslav and later Serbian legend, who took over as coach as well and had great success. Indeed, it's been fair to middling for the best part of a decade until Stojkovic returned as the coach. His first season they were third, the next year reached the Emperor's Cup final. They lost to Gamba Osaka, semis of the AFC Champions League. At the end of the 2000s, but the next year, 2010, it all clicked and they won the league. Their only J1 title. Chance to pull another one back. Well defended, Dion Cools. It remains 4-1. Cerezo have never won the top division in Japan. They've been fourth twice, never higher. 2013 and 2020, fifth in 2022, relegated 3 times from the top flight, never spent more than 3 seasons outside of it. Last promotion, the end of 2016 for the 2017 season, Cerezo, and there they've been ever since, here in the top flight. Good foundations as well. Plenty more seasons in J1. His backs to the wall here as they protect this lead. An effort that they're managing successfully. Latest Nagoya Grampus set piece is repelled. So they try and come forward, full of running again at Cerezo, but it's emerged with Nagoya Grampus. It's Nagai who turns it back. Sakuragawa there, helping out defensively, doing his bit for the team. Nagai forced wide right here. He was the assist provider for Yuya Asano, contemplating a serious late season fade here. Misha Petrovic, but like has met like here. Used to seeing his teams attack the way Cerezo Osaka have done today. The difference is the way Cerezo have got their defensive operation sorted. It's going to be Vissel Kobe taking over top of the west zone with 1 match to play. Going to have a lead of a single point. Vissel Kobe win next week, it doesn't matter what Nagoya Grampus do. Win inside 90 minutes, that is. All sorts of variables, points differentials with the possibility of penalty kicks.
Matches completed yesterday in the East Zone. Tokyo Verdy won at Mito Hollyhock. It was a thunderous penalty competition between Aurora Reds and FC Tokyo. Won eventually 10-9 by FC Tokyo. Kashiwa Reysol, who've had a horrible J1 100-year Vision League, won at Yokohama F Marinos. Today we've had Fajano Wakayama beating Shimizu S-Pulse by 2-0. Vissel Kobe and Vivaran Nagasaki drew 2-2. Went to penalties. Vivaran won it, but Vissel Kobe still got a point. Kashima Antlers, rampant as ever, won 2-0 at Jeff United. That was a little earlier, and Sanfrecce Hiroshima put Kyoto Sanga to the swords. That's still ongoing. Same kickoff there in Kyoto as we had here. Just up the road, actually. And just to round off the fixtures, Kawasaki Frontale against Machida Selvia. It's the evening match on Sunday here in Japan. So further reinforcements now for Cerezo Osaka. This is Satoki Uejo coming in. I mean, Yokoyama deserves a breather. Another breakout performance in what has been a magnificent few months at the start of his Cerezo career, and he is going to go far. Remember the name, Yumeki Yokoyama. Shibayama and Nakajima also withdrawn. Shinji Kagawa, the legend, and Shion Homa come in too. Kagawa won't be required in quite the same circumstances as he was last week. One of the most successful exports from J1. Made his name and then off he went. Manchester United and Borussia Dortmund. All sorts of success on his travels, and 97 caps as well. Just missed out on the full 100 before retiring from the international scene in 2019. Yuki Nogami is replaced by Suichiro Mori for the closing moments. Straight switch on the right side of the defence for Nagoya Grampus, off the bench for the 10th time in the 100-year Vision League. So ending with an entirely different front four for the second week in a row. Cerezo Osaka. The difference this week is the job is pretty much signed and sealed.
Inui a little bit loose. Sakuragawa will challenge, but the attacking intent isn't there with the same kind of urgency, understandably, here. Bemused looks at what they've come up against today, Nagoya Grampus. Sakuragawa making a nuisance of himself. It's broken kindly. But Cerezo, that is. And they slot in effortlessly. Kagawa getting forwards with Homa and Uejo. Two Bundesligas for Borussia Dortmund, 2 cups. Premier League as well for Manchester United in 2013. Kagawa with the corner, claimed by Schmidt. Relief there for the visitors. There's been much of that today. Asano denied at the last also by Tanaka. Gets across. Rock solid at the back again. Tanaka and Inui have got a really good foundation for next year in J1. Cerezo. Is this their time to push on, as so many have expected and wanted in this part of the world? Shion Homa. Cerezo sub. Playing in Sakuragawa. There's the turn! There's the goal! Solomon Sakuragawa. 5-1. Cerezo Osaka rampant here, cutting Nagoya Grampus to ribbons. Andrade on target, replaced by Sakuragawa, and he too checks into the party. Using his strength here to hold off the defender and slot home his 5th goal in the J1 100-year Vision League, first since match week 11. He scored in stoppages against Kyoto Sanga. It's another late one here for the former Yokohama FC striker. And more misery piled onto Misha Petrovic and Nagoya Grampus. They had such high hopes here of really taking a march on Vissel Kobe. They knew exactly what was required after Vissel Kobe's match finished just as this one was starting, but they haven't been able to cope with the pressure, and now start as outsiders to win the Western Zone Championship next week. It's just been another fabulous display. Kind of in the sweet spot, really, for Cerezo Osaka. No realistic chance of the finishing top of the West Zone. Of course, we know no jeopardy at the other end either, because no relegation from either of the geographical zones in this 100-year Vision League. So they've been able to play with freedom, and that's how they're finishing here as they look for number 6. It is 6. It's Sakuragawa off the bench at the double. Nagoya Grampus utterly distraught. And they've given up the ghost here, the visitors. Cerezo hungry, full of energy still. No let up in the attacking ambitions. Yokoyama, Nakajima and Shibayama replaced. but the understudies are in the spotlight now. Again, you wonder about Daniel Schmidt there. Well capable of blocking that attempt from Sakuragawa, but the striker doesn't care. It's squeezed through Schmidt. It's a horrible afternoon for the goalkeeper, a nightmare afternoon for him. Well, he's seen it all before. You just can't predict anything in football, and that's been the case with Nagoya Grampus today. Here they come again, Sakuragawa and Homer. Deflected attempt. Well, they're screaming for the corner. Was deflected away, wasn't it? So they do get the corner, not that they need it. The end of the J1 100-year Vision League coming at the wrong time for Cerezo. They have peaked here. There's 7 goals legal. 2 in the back of the net ruled out. We've had a fest here. 7 extra minutes. Dion Cools. Kagawa happy to be the conductor with the pressure off. This is Uejo. Then Tanaka, he's dispossessed. Asano tries to start the Nagoya Grampus motor. Too little, too late now. Just overdid it there, Ohata, one of the subs. So all his managerial chops required now, Misha Petrovic, to pick Nagoya Grampus up after this. It's the high-stakes way that his teams play. Just remember Consadole Sapporo in that 2023 season. This is like that all over again. You never know what you're going to get week in, week out with a Petrovic team. They're so open, they're so attacking. Some days it comes off, some days they get destroyed. And I'm afraid for Nagoya Grampus, we're in the latter category today. Goals, lovely little steer into the path of Uejo, tries to find Homer. Driving forward again into stoppage time. This will send shockwaves around the top of J1. The way Nagoya Grampus have imploded here. Nagai's been able to do nothing since coming on. Fairness, they aren't blessed with the kind of attacking riches that others around them in the top division here in Japan have. Nagoya Grampus, one of the real issues under the Kenta Hasegawa regime, lack of an established, experienced striker. Joe Inagaki, top scorer last season, attacking midfielder. Yamagishi did well enough before today, but the backup hasn't been there. Yuya Yamagishi started today as second top scorer in J1 100-year Vision League, a goal behind Leo Ciara. Ciara not on target today for Kashima Antlers. Their goals at Jeff United scored by Ryotaro Araki and Shumaruka. So a minor point now. I don't care who gets the goals next week, as long
as they are able to win inside 90 minutes and hope that Vissel Kobe slip up, because that is the scenario now for Nagoya Grampus. Homa. Cools on the overlap. It's Dion Cools tucking it across. It's come all the way across as well to Homa. Oh, number 7 was on its way. Homa's come in to replace Yokoyama. Wide left. And has the same kind of instincts. Round off away against Fujano Okayama next week. Sakuragawa will get there first. Sakuragawa, and wait for support. It almost comes across to Homa. Fuji on the stretch. Here's Kagawa. Themselves into trouble. High press once again. Almost at the 6-minute mark of the extra 7. And the crowd say, we want 7. Four without a win before last week against FIFA and Nagasaki. Defeat at Sanfrecce, the 3 straight draws coming up straight after back-to-back victories at Gamba and here against Kyoto Sanga. But boy, have they found the formula here with the end of the season in sight. Trying to get in behind, don't need to, of course, but they want to. Talk about going out on a high. That's exactly what Cerezo Osaka have done. They're rounding out the season at the YANMAR Hanasaka with extraordinary wins. 3-2, last gasp, last week against FIFA and Nagasaki, and today resounding, dominant, fantastic, sensational 6 goals against Nagoya Grampus, who are bumped off the top of the West Zone and from favourites to go into the championship playoff, now start as outsiders to topple Vissel Kobe when the J1 100-year Vision League wraps up next weekend. It's all about the fixtures for the top 2 now. It's a huge task for Nagoya Grampus to win at Sanfrecce Hiroshima inside 90 minutes and hope that Vissel Kobe slip up at Avispa Fukuoka, but Vissel Kobe are on the road as well. Cerezo round out in Okayama, but they have signed off in style at home with 2 stunning wins. What a result. Sakuragawa off the bench to score 2. Yokoyama with the brace. Andrade, Tanaka on target in a 6-1 win for Cerezo Osaka. Well, one did come back the other way. Yudai Kimura, 4 minutes before half-time. That was Nagoya's goal. Kimura with the ball in the net. Likewise, Nogami with the ball in the net. Offside calls, which
went to VAR, went against Nagoya Grampus, and the mother of all pick-me-ups needed now before the title deciding weekend. Kashima Antlers away in the championship playoff. But that AFC Champions League Elite return, which they were dreaming about, Nagoya Grampus, has just been pushed a little bit out of their reach now, and they need snookers. Post-match reaction is going to be fascinating here from Cerezo Osaka. Who do you pick for the post-match interview? They were all brilliant, including the substitutes. Graciously accepting the hiding they've been handed here at Nagoya Grampus, both the players and the supporters, as they contemplate a huge final weekend on the journey home.
J1 の舞台で待望の初ゴールを挙げ、さらに2点目も取り、チームを勝利に導きました。今の気持ちをお聞かせください。
もう素直にやっと取れたなっていうやっと取れたなっていう思いで、もう本当にほっとしてます。
チームメートからも祝福の声がかかりました。ご自身の記念すべき J1 初ゴール、中島選手のパスを受け左足で決めました。振り返っていただけますか？
新次さんにもう練習の時から、そこは左足振った方がいいっていうふうに言われてたので、それがよぎってうまく左足で決めれたので、新次さんのおかげですね。
そして2点目、中島選手が